When I watched Detective Conan as a child, there were two questions that made me most curious. They were, who was the final boss of the black organization, and how did Uncle Mori become a detective? After all, at that time, Uncle Mori always gave me a kind of decadence feeling. Whether it's his age or intelligence, it's the complete opposite of Conan's. He always makes his daughter do the housework, never seriously completing his work as a detective. Conan always being bullied and robbed of his credit. Almost every time Conan tries to help Mori, he gets hit in return. Whenever he's on vacation, at home, he smokes, drinks, and is addicted to idols. Already a 40-year-old man, and he's still harassing young females. Even his wife separated from him. After more than 10 years, the identity of the final boss of the black organization is slowly rising to the surface, and the true strength of Uncle Mori is becoming like Schrodinger's cat to me. Sometimes he's very foolish and lazy, but in certain times, he's very cool and mature. In this video, I'll analyze Uncle Mori's past, his true strength, and his true personality. Please keep in mind that the following analysis may include anime originals, movies, and my own opinions. So, let's begin. Mori Kogoro, also known as Sleeping Kogoro, is now 38 years old. Graduated from Taiten Elementary School, Taiten High School, and Beika University. From a young age, he had a childhood friend named Eri. Although she was his childhood friend, their personalities are completely different. One is the most talented girl in school, and the other is the naughtiest boy in school. Compared with the relationship between Shinichi and Ran, their relationship is pretty exciting. The two basically argue every day in their spare time, and the main reason for each argument is because another person does the same thing as the other one does. They even argue over if fried eggs should be eaten with Worcestershire sauce or soy sauce. Then they went to the same junior high school together. In junior high school, Mori's naughtiest boy attitude was pretty popular. In the Detective Conan TV series, episode 305, The Unseen Suspect, there's a female celebrity who liked Mori from kindergarten up until now. In order to attract his attention, she also put on glasses to make herself look more like Eri. And even after she became a big celebrity, she remained single, waiting for Mori. But it's a pity that Uncle Mori was too busy arguing with his future wife every day and didn't notice her unrequited love at all. After that, they went to the same high school. In high school, Eri and Yukiko, who is also known as Shinichi's mother, were called the Tetten High School Queen and the Princess of Tetten High School, respectively. Eri even got the chance to go to Harvard University, but in order to be with Mori, she gave up the opportunity and went to Tokyo University instead. At the same time, Mori joined the judo club to strengthen himself and prevent any suitors from getting close to Eri. Even in college, Mori was still a member of the judo team. Their judo team had even won second place in the city finals, and Mori was the strongest member of the club. But unfortunately, because of his fear of the competitions, he never actually won once. However, compared to his amazing judo skills, his romance, EQ, and talent for poetry are almost equal to zero. He harasses every beautiful female he meets, but he rarely seriously speaks any romantic words to them. That's because he put all of his romance skills and EQ into his proposal to Eri. Well, that was a very low-tech and embarrassing proposal I've ever heard in anime. But the person who said this is a decadent flirter, Mori Kogoro. I can almost imagine how hard it must have been for Mori to put all his knowledge into that sentence. After getting married, they formed a family soon, and Ran was born. In order to maintain this new family, Uncle Mori went to study at the police school, and then became a police officer under Inspector Meguri, and also joined the arson department. But he always made mistakes in the process of solving cases, causing many incidents to become unsolved mysteries. And because there's a kid named Shinichi who takes his daughter out to play every day, Uncle Mori had been worried about his daughter Ran's premature love since elementary school. 10 years before Shinichi became Conan, an accident happened when Ran was 6 years old. Eri brought Ran to visit Uncle Mori that day, but because of a mistake made by the police, a culprit escaped and took Eri hostage. Uncle Mori reacted instantly and shot Eri's leg, because according to him, a hostage shot in the leg is just a burden to a fleeing criminal. Then the culprit was arrested, and Eri's leg was permanently scarred from that time on. Therefore, Uncle Mori quit his job as a police officer because of the shooting of the hostage. It may also be that Uncle Mori voluntarily resigned to prevent his family from being threatened. That night, Eri thanked Uncle Mori for saving her, so she endured the pain and cooked him dinner. But Uncle Mori was angry that she didn't have good rest and let Eri lie in bed and take care of herself. However, the main meaning of his sentence wasn't conveyed to Eri, thinking that he was disgusted at what she had cooked. Then, the two started arguing, and Eri left Mori while he was in the bathroom. From this time on, the lives of the two people have completely changed. Eri started her law firm after moving out and has never lost in 10 years. From the Tetten High School Queen to Queen of the Courtroom. On the other hand, because Uncle Mori failed his career and romantic relationship, he had become a dispirited, unknown detective. 10 years later, Uncle Mori's daughter Ran became a high school student and bought a Zashiki Warashi, aka Death God, to their family. After that, the money they earned and the dead people they met never stopped. Regarding the relationship between Uncle Mori and Aunt Eri, they can make another new anime called Sleeping Kogoro, Love is War. Every time they meet, they start arguing and mocking each other or pretending to be interested in other people. But in fact, their relationship is so good that every time one of them is in danger, the other is definitely the first to come to the rescue. In the 902nd episode of the anime, Eri was kidnapped. As a result, Mouri, who had a fear of heights, climbed 4 floors of his own hands to rescue her. According to what Shinichi said, Eri's dishes are actually disgusting. But Uncle Mori can somehow finish these dishes every time and claims that he still misses the taste. And Mori has also sent many out-of-print autographs to Eri through Conan's God of Death buff. On the other hand, the name of Eri's cat is called Goro, which happens to be part of Mori's name, and every time she feels lonely, she would hug her cat and sleep. On their wedding anniversary, they would even wear the clothes they had on their first date. To put it bluntly, these two people are just sundaries, and their dates are like turn-based games. In Eri's turn, she used romantic memories as an attack, and then Mori evades the attack by pretending to look at other women. But if Eri is not near him, even if a beauty star deliberately tempts Mori at a critical moment, Mori can still remain calm. If it's Mori's turn, he would attack by ending through separation. Eri would then use her headphones, not hearing him, as a reason to avoid his attack. But in fact, Eri had recorded all of the words Mori had said through a tape recorder and listened to it over and over again. It seemed that she liked the separated state. When the two of them attack at the same time, they will cause misunderstandings due to some accidents and then continue to separate. Now that I've said so much about Mori Kogoro's past and romance between him and Eri, here's a question. What is Mori's true strength? First of all, let's make sure that the combat effectiveness in Detective Conan is divided into mainly 3 standards. They are deduction ability, fighting ability, and shooting ability. Assume that the person with the strongest deduction ability is Kuru Yusaku and Hattori Hezo. The person with the strongest fighting ability is One Punch Man Makoto Kyogoku. And the person with the strongest shooting ability is Akai Shuichi. Treat them as the top line to analyze Mori's ability. First up, deduction ability. The original person Uncle Mori is based off of is the famous detective Kogoro Akechi in Edogawa Rampo's book. Like Mori Kogoro, he doesn't solve the case through evidence, but through life experience and psychology. The performance in Strategy Above the Depths show his psychology skills the most obvious, judging that the culprit is a female by a small detail of how males and females turn around. As for his life experience in The Unseen Suspect, through an old man's way of speaking, he deduced that there was a father and daughter relationship between the old man and the celebrity. The biggest difference between him and Conan is not deduction, but luck. Conan, through some people's reminders or accidentally finding some important evidence that even the police can't find, is able to solve the case, while Uncle Mori can only know the case through the police's description. More than that, maybe Uncle Mori isn't as smart as Conan, but he's much more mature than him. It's not that he can just say some well-known logical statements, it's also the way of thinking about the overall situation. For example, in Detective Conan, you can often see some very strange plots, especially plots related to the Boys Detectives Club. Sometimes Conan and them find a place that might be a crime scene, but Conan's first reaction isn't to run away or call the police, but to explain to the kids why it might be a crime scene, or something completely irrelevant. It feels like they're not at a crime scene, but at an amusement park. Then, when they were discovered by the suspect, they started playing hide and seek. In contrast, when Uncle Mori finds the real culprit in Strategy Above the Depths, he didn't directly expose her, but instead, he made a joke and left the party venue. But in fact, this was just a strategy for the culprit to relax and let down her guard, while Uncle Mori went to the culprit's room and destroyed her weapon to prevent any further crimes. The reason why Uncle Mori was so smart this time was because the culprit looked like Eri, so he searched for evidence and evidence to prove her innocence. But his deduction came to a completely opposite conclusion. This was enough to prove that if the crime was related to someone he knows, his deduction ability will be close to Conan's. Next comes the fighting ability. If Makoto Kyogoku has never lost 400 matches, then Uncle Mori has never lost in these 1000 episodes. Oh, let me change it a little bit. It's that no one can take one of his shoulder throws, except when he faces a woman or Conan's acupuncture sessions. Even if it's someone Rand can't beat, Uncle Mori can knock him down with one move. But he also has his rule that he'll never hit a woman, even if that woman is a culprit. Except once, Conan appeared in front of the culprit, and to prevent the culprit from harming Conan, Mori used his shoulder throw technique on a woman for the first time. In my opinion, if Mori is willing to train well, his combat effectiveness may very well exceed Makoto Kyogoku's. Last but not least, let's discuss Mori's shooting ability. Although Mori Kogoro rarely uses a gun, he entered the police school with a full shooting score. Then he graduated as first first place and became a legend in the police school, and he also learned professional autopsy techniques from there. In other words, his shooting ability is likely to be higher than Morbin's. Not to mention, he also has the most important skill of an adult, which is social relationships. And his social relationships can almost compare with Suzuki Sonoko, who is probably the richest woman in Detective Conan. Everyone he knows is particularly outstanding in a certain industry. Therefore, Mori Kogoro is a person with strong deduction ability, a never-losing fighting ability, and a full-score shooting ability, as well as having powerful human relationships. Although he doesn't have the strongest ability in each area, he may be the most balanced, all-around character in the entirety of Detective Conan, which is why Uncle Mori rarely appears in the main story. If he were to participate in the main storyline, then he may be the third silver bullet. On the other hand, the relationship between Uncle Mori and Conan is also a bit weird. Although Mori always calls Conan a freeloader, he will still be the first to protect Conan anytime it's dangerous. Conan is the same, always dismissing Uncle Mori's deduction, but never doubting his ability as a detective. Although sometimes I feel Uncle Mori hits Conan a bit much, Conan shot more than 300 anesthetic needles into Uncle Mori's neck. And when Conan doesn't have any anesthetic needles, he'll try to paralyze him through physical attacks. Oh, what a loyal son-in-law you are. It's impossible for a lazy genius like Mori to fail to discover Conan's true identity. In fact, Mori was the first person to doubt the true identity of Conan. Uncle Mori has probably always known that Conan is Shinichi. This can also explain his strange actions in the following plot. The relationship between Mori and Conan is not like the relationship of a housemaster and a freeloader, but rather is more like a relationship between a father-in-law and his son-in-law. Mori knows that Shinichi is probably the only one that can marry his daughter, and is the only one capable of marrying her, but he still doesn't want to directly accept this truth and wants to trick Conan every time. We can tell this through his reaction every time Ran takes a shower with Shinichi together. So now we know that Mori Kogoro is a lecherous, lazy, smoker, and drinker of an old man. But if it involves someone he knows, he'll become a smart, reliable, and powerful man. Compared to Conan's heroic, almost perfect role, I find that I prefer this image of a lazy, mature man.
15年前、俺は君にもっと大事なことを教えなければいけなかった。勉強よりももっと大事なことを。だがまだ遅くはない。罪を償ってもう一度勉強し直す。
Alright, today's video ends here. In fact, when I grow up and look at some anime again, I feel that some of the characters I hated before have become particular favorites. You can always find some sort of charm in them. To be honest, I still like to write these type of scripts and make videos that introduce these people. If possible, I plan to make a few similar videos introducing these annoying characters I saw as a child, but after growing up, seeing them through another perspective. So, see you next time.